Okay, so the next thing is we need to figure out what kind of screen tone would be good. I mean, technically, this conversation was originally in the locker room. Looks like there's eraser junk underneath here. Let's make sure it's underneath. If it's underneath, it's fine. Okay. So, for example, if I take this out of the little baggie. Fumbling to open. Okay. We got ourselves a beautiful little page. And I want to kind of compare the quality on these. I'm pretty sure it's exactly the same. I mean, let's take a look. Let's see. This is... Yeah, it's the exact same thing. Look at that. This was like 3 times as expensive. Why?
I don't know.
But I'm going to take it. Like, if they do more of this, I'm going to go Daiso a lot. So, anyways. This is the one from Daiso. Pretty sure. They look exactly the same. They're the same numbers, same everything. It's literally, I can't see a difference. So, when we go to use these, basically, screen tones are like stickers. So, what we need to do is get our handy dandy
cutting knife.
Which probably means I shouldn't be using this underneath. So let's go ahead and remove the backlight because I don't want to cut into my light. Alright. Cutting mat. So first, I'm going to put this here. And you lay this over the top where you can kind of see through it, right? So it's easy to see where you would put it. So for example, if this was outside, the question is, do I want to use this or what's most important? Like, for example, this is kind of a romantic background normally. I wouldn't say that our conversation is very romantic, per se. Oh, and I found some more pencil lines to erase. Maybe this one would be good for that. Like, we're talking about life or something, or pets. I don't know. Talking about something here, and it's just very normal and peaceful. And then... how about this guy? Put this here, and it's like, oh, wait. I don't know. Maybe this is too intense. Feels a little bit intense. I mean, I could put this one on the bottom. I can't really see that. Where we're in the final bit, and I'm just like, where am I? This is the exact same thing here. We also have just a basic where I could fill in my sweater, perhaps. So maybe let's start with that. Fill in the sweater area so you can see how I would cut it in a very small shape here. And we can do this with quite a bit of these. So first, actually, I am going to go ahead and use, well, maybe not the multi-liner because it might smudge. I'm going to use a regular old pen.
Pen.
Okay. So, I'm going to just line that up over where I want to cover. So you draw right over the top of it. You can always cut it down a little bit if it's too big. Just want to, oh, it's a little bit short. Shoot. Thought it would make it. Well, I'll just draw it again. Okay. Like this. So that I've got my little sweater here. And if my sweater's always going to be that color, then I'm going to want all of the times when my sweater is in the frame to have this over the top of it. And we're going to continue to do that. I'm trying to preserve how much I'm using of this. I don't know, I guess I'm kind of anal about not just going in the middle of it. I mean, I guess this one kind of, well, I didn't just go straight in the middle of it, but if you preserve it, you can use it for more things, so I'm trying to not just draw and cut out wherever. So anyways, alright. And then my last one here, I'm going to do that one more time. So all of my sweaters have the same screen tone on them that gives them that look of a little bit of shading without having to actually do it manually. So now we have these shapes, right? I'm going to go ahead and move this out of the way for a sec. We're going to go ahead and use our trusty X-Acto knife. I mean, you could also use scissors that fell on the floor. Not particularly those, but you could use scissors, but this makes it a little bit easier because I just noticed that it seems pretty easy to peel off when you use an X-Acto knife, and you don't want to cut too much. As you can see, it's already, look at that, it's coming off so easily. I didn't even have to cut that much into it. It's just very, very fragile. So of course, remember that if you're going to use these, that
a little bit of cutting goes a long way.
well, not in how do you say it? A little bit goes a long way in general. You don't need to, like, I don't know, go crazy with it. It's very easy to get it to come off. And if it's not coming off cleanly, you can just use, go around the edges a little bit more. This part here is being stubborn, so I'm just quickly breaking that off a little bit. I don't want the ink line that I made, so you kind of have to really get in there and get rid of it. I don't need that. I mean, of course, if you're used to doing things digitally, this will probably feel like a total pain to you. And of course, it takes time as well. Time and energy. Alright, so now we have our first little piece here. And that's going to go on my sweater on the first panel, which should, in theory, fit right over there. Question is, did I do it right?
We'll find out in just a moment.
I think I may have not lined it up quite right, but I can always stick it on here and kind of mess with it. Like, as you can see, it's not 100% perfect. I did cut a little bit too much off on the edge. Also, this here is sticking out a little bit. So you can just go ahead, since it's a sticker, you just take it a little bit with this X-Acto knife and just pull it right off. Looks pretty good. I mean, I could always go over this area with that multi-liner again. Of course, this goes over the top of your lines, so you don't really need to, you don't want to draw over the top of these too much, because they'll move around a little bit. I can easily pull it back off, like, if I need to. See how easy that is? Now, yeah, see? Just easy peasy. Just take your nail and pull it back up if you need to move it around, but I don't know, if you do it too much, you might mess up the stickiness on the back. So anyway, just keep on keeping on. Of course, these little tiny bits are really hard to get into with, especially this size of an X-Acto knife. I remember learning this from manga, how to draw manga books. Back in the day, they were saying, get yourself an X-Acto knife, and I know I had one because my dad and I used to do a lot of DIY projects, and I remember even in elementary school cutting my fingers on it by accident when we were trying to make stuff for school or whatever. It was fun though. But yeah, this is just a normal, you don't need anything fancy. This is literally something I got at the dollar store too. I think it's too big for these purposes. You can get smaller ones that are better for this kind of project, but this is what I had in my drawer today. So this is what we're using, and it works fine. It's not perfect, but it's fine.
It'll do.
Okay, as you can see, I did cut a little bit too much around the edge of the hair, so I think I'll go over the hair again. But overall, I think it looks pretty decent. You can see here that, it's pretty much covering the sweater. If you're working with a larger canvas, I feel like it would be a lot easier. But then again, these are also mini-sized, these screen tones. And those are $1, so just imagine how expensive it would be if you're trying to use, like, a full sheet of 8.5 by 11 letter paper or legal-sized A4 paper and trying to make, big characters. you're going to use these up real fast. That's probably why nowadays a lot of people, including, you know, professional artists in Japan, don't do things this way anymore. It's just too expensive. But it's a good, fun time. It's, I don't know, it reminds me of my childhood, I guess, to do this, because this is something I liked doing, and it wasn't something that I knew a lot of other people were doing growing up. Just making these, you know, using these screen tones. I thought it was cool that I was, like, the only one doing it. Alright, here we goose. Again, it's a little bit off, but it's fixable. We can go in and kind of adjust it. I could also peel this off a little bit and pull it a little bit further over, possibly, to kind of compensate, perhaps. But again, yeah, this is not exactly... Oh, yeah, that's much better. So, sometimes if it doesn't fit the first time, just pull it off and try again. Let's try with this one again. See if that helps.
Oh yeah, that was our issue.
This one, I'm not so sure if it would help for me to move it. I think I just cut it too short, so we'll fix that later. Yeah, so now I've got 3 sweaters, and now we're going to do the last one. Stickery. There we go. Now we can stick that right on there. Hey! How about that? Looking good. So, I mean, I could stop there. It's really simple looking this way. But I feel like we could do a little bit more with the screen tones. So we have these choices, right? I mean, what else could we do? We could put plaid. If I do plaid on her shirt, then it's kind of, I feel like it's a little too similar. I also noticed more pencil lines, so let's get rid of those. Of course, you have to be careful when you go in a race later on. You might pull your screen tones right off if you're too rambunctious about it. Okay. Looks pretty good. Alrighties. Maybe I'll use one of these, since I have 2 of them. I mean, I could put one of these up here. Maybe I will, just to show off these 2 different screen tones in the background.
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna do it.
Because I have these to work with, so. So what we're gonna do then is outline. This one gets a little bit harder because this is a huge piece behind here. I'm basically lasso tooling in real life, going around the edges of what I drew, and then drawing around the characters. So now we have a shape like this. So we're only looking to get this sticker piece. Let's go ahead and do this. I may skip this one. The more I think about this, it's like,
This is a lot of work.
I don't think I've ever done this detailed of a piece before. I'm sure if I was using a smaller X-Acto knife, my life would be a lot easier. I literally thought about buying it when I went to the dollar store, but I thought, I have one already. Why bother? Like, it's not necessary. Should save my money. But now I'm kind of feeling like,
That would have been nice.
I feel like I'm cutting with a box cutter. I mean, it is a box cutter, but I mean, Like a literal, like a cardboard box. Yeah, this is difficult right here especially. I don't know how I'm gonna get this little tiny bit. I also don't want the pen in there either, so you gotta be careful. Where did I already cut? I don't think I cut around the... Oh, I did. Did I cut around here? Where did I stop? No, I didn't stop here yet. Don't want to tear it.
Don't tear it.
I should have thought about this ahead of time. If you do decide to play with screen tones, I do recommend that you either, you know, depending on your patience level, you probably should draw really simple characters. It is very rewarding though when you remove it and it's just peeling right off like that. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. Alright. We got one side. I'm just gotta come around here and get this. That's already done, okay. Come back. Back around here. That's... Oh, crap, I broke it. Well, it's not the worst thing. This is just really detailed. Very, very difficult.
Would not recommend.
A little bit of regrets on how detailed I made this. I'm sure there's some professional out there that's like, I could do that.
Good for you.
Ooh.
Skittles.
Okay. Unfortunately, this is kind of similar in color to my my sweater. You know, I'm just gonna cut this piece off. It's not even like important. But, yeah, it is a little bit similar, but at least there's some like texture going on behind, so. Looks a little strange right around the hair there, but I mean, are you gonna be picky? I'm not gonna be that picky. We'll just leave it. And then, I'm not gonna bother with that little tiny stars. Just can't be bothered. Okay, I think that's my limit on screen tones for this one. We're working with too detailed stuff, but look at that. That's like an art piece on its own. Just this. Wow. Okay. Well. Oh yeah, there's one more thing that you can use if you're feeling like you would like to adjust the screen tones, and that is to use this tone eraser. And how this works is it kind of rubs away at the screen tone, so it changes the opacity. I don't think I'm really going to bother with this on this one, just because of how small this is. I'm also going to go ahead and remove this. This is just distracting. Don't mind me. I can't. This is no. Alright. So basically, for example, like right here where I just removed that piece, it's kind of now, the tone is a bit harsh where there's nothing connecting to it. So I just take this eraser and kind of fade it out so that it's not as obvious. And especially if you're doing on clothes or something and you want to have some highlights, you might want to use this to change the opacity on what you're doing. I'm going to finish this up after scanning it in and adding in the text, just so it's easy to read. I think most people nowadays do that. So thank you for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day. And let me know if you go ahead and get any of these tools and want to try for yourself. And we'll continue on with my version of how I do manga digitally. So, see you then. Bye.